I continue to be excited because there are so many great things happening in Saint Croix. And as we continue to get deep into the weeds of this Dillon Consulting report on public transit, we now have in 2024 some really great options, things that the report recommended back in 2020. And so I want to share those with you today. We're going to finish off diving into what the report recommended. And then for the next few days, I would like to talk about the three services that really give me hope, give us hope. There are incredible people doing amazing things in all aspects of the five challenges and solutions that I want to bring as your MLA. And really, it's an MLA that needs to look more into these things, champion those people, champion those initiatives, and help find them funding along with the Southwest Service Commission. To me, as I explore these things, that is what an MLA needs to be doing, should be doing. I would argue is not doing right now. And I just want you to imagine a transformed riding with an MLA working that hard. And you only need to look at other ridings in our great province where that is happening and people are getting the services they need. Now, I am wearing an almost iridescent white shirt here today. It is Saturday, August 10th, episode 60. We've been doing this for 60 straight days, our daily live for 5. I'm about to go officiate a wedding. That is my day job. That is my corporation, training people all over the world, thousands of people. But I also officiate here locally. So I'm going to Kingsbury this afternoon, hence the very formal white shirt. But I got to jump in the car as soon as I'm done here. Let's continue here on the consulting report and pick up where we left off yesterday. I want you to focus in on this because today we are going to end off, like I said, just want to show you a few more pages of this 50 plus page document. And here it says, while Southwest New Brunswick has some limited transit services, and this was in 2020, we're in a better place now than we were then, but those things hang by a thread and we do need more commitment from the province. Charlotte Dial-A-Ride is named here directly. There are still a number of mobility gaps that have resulted in residents finding it difficult to seek education and employment. Again, we are looking for solutions for our common good. And if people are having challenges seeking education and employment, we need to come together to be the best community we can be to get those folks the help they need. And they are having challenges accessing services such as groceries and medical appointments. Again, are we okay with that? I think the province and that pot that we bring together as a community needs to help everyone, especially the most vulnerable. Now, for employers within the region, access to a skilled labor market to support industry is also an issue. So this doesn't even work for business people. And existing mobility gaps and its impact on individuals and the region is described below. And then they go into it. And thankfully for you, I'm sure we're not going to go into those multiple pages of the challenges. I just thought that was a good description of the challenges that people without access to a car, seniors, students, and even employers face that the bus service could not answer. Again, that rural links, if you haven't joined us over the past few days, I've gone into excruciating, exhausting detail about how ultimately it was 6 passengers per day on that bus, which was not sustainable. But what is sustainable? Well, the report goes on here, a couple more slides, a recommended service plan. Like I say, I'm always excited when I dig around and find these plans on the table. And I do have this from a contact in the Southwest Service Commission that says this report is still referred to as possible solutions for future transit. And that's why I want, as your MLA, to be part of that to get Saint Croix on board. There are 2 options available, the report says, for the region to improve mobility options. The options are dependent on the amount of sustainable funding, bells should be ringing right now, to pay for the capital and operating costs of the service. Right now, our province does not contribute anything. And that's not acceptable, I believe. There is no business case, focus on this, there is no business case that would allow for the operation of a revenue-neutral public transit system. So this is to say no business is going to come in and get rich on that. Nobody is just going to want to do this, again, so that they can become wealthy off of it. All transit systems require a sustainable funding source to pay for yearly operating costs and one-time capital costs. And then they give you examples of what those are. The average rural transit system, we are a rural riding, the average rural transit system in Section 3, which I did show you in earlier slides yesterday and the day before, recovers about 40% of its operating costs from the passenger revenue. So that means when you pay for your public transportation ride, only about 40% That only covers about 40% of the actual ride. The remaining balance is typically provided by municipal property tax and other federal or provincial funding sources. And again, not in New Brunswick, tragically, and that cannot continue, I would say. And so here, the last slide from the report, and to end this today, since both the province of New Brunswick and the federal government do not provide sustainable funding to support public transit. And I hope that jumps off the page at you. This need is acute. There is no business case for the need. Why does our province just say, well, that's not our problem, figure it out? It's well known that in every transit model across the world, 60% of the funding needs to come from somewhere other than the passengers. The funding to support net operation costs must come from municipal property taxes without the federal or provincial government, which of course the municipality says, whoa, we are already seeing property taxes going up. None of our residents want to see that. In fact, my priority number one was about more affordable housing. And so we need to talk about, does the municipality really want to kick in all this money for a public transit system? I'm sure people are going to say, well, no, thank you. But the money, I would argue, is there provincially to develop a sustainable provincial public transit system. Let me keep reading. It's always challenging for rural municipalities that have a limited tax base, number of competing priorities on how tax revenue should be spent, etc. Now, they say there is certain grant dollars available. Grants typically provide limited time-based funding that can be used for capital purchases. Again, all these grants are typically a pilot project. We see those pilots happen. They can be helpful by resulting in reports like we're reading now. But a lot of times, these amazing sustainable projects, a lot of which I'm concerned right now, some of the best things we have going in Saint Croix are just still pilot projects, and then they will fizzle out. The province says we'll put some money in, see how it goes, and then pull it. That is one thing that we want to stop seeing for public transit. Now, these realities and the importance of improving mobility are in the short term. A two-phased approach is recommended in the plan. And I'm not going to read any more than this, but here's their two phases. Leverage existing transportation providers to improve mobility. That's why I want to talk about Charlotte County Dial-A-Ride, the Project Village from Eastern Charlotte Waterways, Car Share, and Kari, our new Rideshare. When you look at the report, you see that this constellation actually provides a really great complement of the services we need, but they are all in sort of a fluxy. Maybe Charlotte County Dial-A-Ride has been around the longest, but Project Village and Kari, K-A-R-I, you can say it however you'd like. They need to know, and I think we need to know as residents, that these things are not going to fold because of lack of funding when pilot projects run out. Phase one, leverage existing, and then phase two, implement a cost-effective transit service. So as I say, and I'll keep saying this over and over, I get excited because the plans are there. We are not inventing things from scratch. Either they're already on the table or in other jurisdictions, other provinces, other states, other countries. Somebody's done this work. Our challenges are not unique. It just takes someone, an MLA, to work really hard on these things, be fired up about them, know how to read these reports, know who to bring to the table, and find the incredible people in our communities who are already bringing these solutions to the table. And then, of course, find funding, which we can do in Fredericton if we have the political will and if we are believing that, hey, this pot is for the common good. We need to live sustainably, but we need to make sure that those who have the greatest need are also provided for in our communities. That's it. I've gone way over time. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about Charlotte County Dial-A-Ride, Charlotte Dial-A-Ride, because that is one of the things that this report suggested building out. And then we'll talk about our other two great options in the days coming after that. Thank you very much.